How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Fit Coach channel. Celebrating 300 plus subscribers. Going to be with you for about an hour. We're going to be answering some questions related to cycling, fitness. I'm going to start off the day here just talking a little bit about some of the questions that were sent to me. So we'll get in with that, and then I'll bring in our guests, and then we'll go from there. So some questions that were asked to me. Did you always want to be a PE teacher? To be honest with you, the answer is no. Actually was going to be a marine biologist, then decided I did not like being on a boat for a long period of time, and then went into teaching, and I've always been involved in fitness, and there was this big craze at the time for team building, adventure ed, and I fit right in with that mold. And then I always loved being involved in fitness with technology, like polar heart rate technology, learning all about that. And it transitioned from me working in the hospital to that, so it made a lot of sense. The second question was, what is my least favorite exercise? Again, it's running. I'm not actually into running. I do run a lot, but it's not the thing that I like to do the most. It's probably on the bottom of my list. Obviously, number one is cycling. 3, what got you into riding a bike and racing? My uncle Milan Obradovich, my last name is Ricevich, Rob Ricevich, and he was known as one of the best cyclists in road around the area. And I grew up in Illinois, and I just wanted to follow in his footsteps. Started riding a bike at the age of about 4. And then from that point on, we all love to ride bikes. It's basically something that keeps you timeless. It's like a time machine, the bicycle. Even adults love getting new bikes. It's something that just transcends throughout history. Question here is 4. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with fitness, cycling on YouTube? I didn't plan on doing this. This happened all because of COVID. And I see a lot of chat happening right now. How you guys doing? I will be answering some of these questions later, just to let you know. Yeah, I see this channel doing well. I think there's a lot of information out there for fitness. I think a lot of you are into sports, and what's going to happen eventually is you're going to want to try something different, and that's a good thing, okay? And we're going to lead you up into the guest coming in right now. Before I do that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about him. His name is Joe Ehrenberg. He is an amateur athlete. He is what's called a Clydesdale racer. He will go into that. He's a great friend of mine. We met at Village Cycle Sport in Arlington Heights many moons ago. I can't maybe 18, 20 years ago. He's also a member of Camber, which is Chicago area mountain biker. It's a local area group here in Chicago, and it's a mountain bike group. And they do a lot of the trail maintenance, a lot of the races that you might hear about coming up. There's Palos Meltdown. There is a bunch of different, that's probably their claim to fame is Palos. They do a real good trail system there. Raceway Woods. They also have a dirt jump area called Andre's Bike Park. It's named after I believe it's a Vietnam vet that died in Vietnam. And it's in honor of him. And that's in Dundee. And I'm going to bring Joe in right now. So come on in, Joe.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Hi, I'm Joe.
So,
Nice
Joe,
to meet you all.
quick question for you. What are the different race categories that you can tell the audience about?
Well, I guess it just depends on the race. So, I guess let me go into a little bit about like Clydesdale, why I'm called Clydesdale. If you can't tell, I'm a bigger dude on the heavy side. I'm actually kind of considered super Clydesdale in some people's eyes. So, and Clydesdales are based on your weight, and I think it's 220 pounds and heavier. I'm closer to the 300-pound mark. Like I said, I'm a big dude. And the reason Clydesdales like me have their own group is that riding a bicycle for somebody who's as big as I am is significantly more challenging than somebody who's like 150 pounds, especially going uphill. Going uphill is my nemesis out on a mountain bike track or on a road track or anything like that. I get up them, but I'm like a diesel engine, just kind of plug and chug. Whereas somebody who's like 150 pounds, like Coach R or something like that, he could loop me like 3 or 4 times on a hill. So that's like Clydesdale. So we get our own division on most races. I wish they would do Super Clydesdale because I'm still a good 60, 70 pounds heavier than most other Clydesdale riders. So, but the fun thing is that I still beat some of them.
Can I cut into one thing?
Yeah.
So I race at a higher level. We'll go into that later. When Joe and I met, this is the thing I wanted to really talk about, and that is being an elite athlete and being an amateur. And how do two people hang out in that type of race scene, right? Is it all the top level people all hang out and they just want to be with each other, and that's because it's like a cool thing? And that's not usually the case. We all start out as amateurs, and we all can achieve that level of excellence. And being with Joe, I don't think he knew how good I was, but then we went riding, he was kind of freaked a little bit. But at the same time, he would tell anybody that I hang with him. There's a lot of people, when we go riding, some of the pros we go with, they ditch us, right? They just take off. And it's like they're always on like a race mode. And when you're with your friends, you're with your friends. You hang out with them. You don't ditch them. You don't take off and leave them high and dry.
No, Rob doesn't do that. He'll go way ahead of me. Like we go up like Kettle Raceway, and he'll ride a
Kettle Moraine is in Wisconsin, just to let you guys know.
Or a Raceway or anything like that. And he'll ride a segment, and he's going to be faster than me. He's a much more skilled rider than I am. And just like I said, the uphill part. But when we get done and we get to a stopping point, he's always there waiting for me, kind of laughing at me, going, "Hey, come on, you got this, you got this."
Fork in the road. Yeah, I'm always pushing him.
Yeah.
My big thing is pedal, pedal, pedal.
Right.
People be like, "Oh, you just want to, drift down the down the embankments." And I'm like, "No, pedal down them."
Yep.
So you get that momentum to come back up. So, going into that, that's the Clydesdale class. It's awesome. So that's the cool thing. It gives everybody an opportunity to race and challenge themselves. And to be completely honest, you're just racing against the clock anyways, trying to better your time, especially if you're on a course that you've been on before.
Right. Yeah, that's my big goal when I go out there is I'm just trying to beat my last time. And if I beat a couple of people at the same time, that's cool. But, there's other, like I said, about the different classes when you're mountain bike racing. And we're just talking about mountain bike racing because that's all I've done. The other classes, it just kind of depends. Some races do it by age group. Some races do it by ability and age group. One of Coach R's and my favorite races to do is something called the Iceman Cometh, and that's up in Traverse City, Michigan in November, and it's pretty crazy up there. There's like 4,500 racers going, and they do it by age groups and timing and ability levels, and then they actually have a pro class where Coach R races in the last few years. He's been okay out there too. It's been a lot of fun watching him at the end. So so I mean, like I said, it just depends on where you're at, what race. There's COVID's kind of strike down all the racing, and it's just starting up again. Kettle Moraine had a nice race called the Fall Color Festival, and they just did that by age group, or if you're riding, what type of bike you're riding. Like if you're riding a fat bike.
Can we interject one time?
Yep.
Okay, Liam N, shout out to you. What kind of bikes do you guys have? So Joe's got like 15,000 bikes. So
No, I do not.
okay,
I have a lot.
I just got rid of a race bike that I have now because of COVID. I cannot find another bike, so I'll be racing on my old bike. I have a Trek Stash, super fun bike. It can hit big hit jumps. It can go over any kind of terrain. It's a hardtail though, so you got to ride out of the saddle some of the time. But it's got bigger tires, so it soaks up a lot of the rocks and things like that. Okay, Joe can probably talk forever, but let's just talk about, how about this, Joe? What's your favorite bike out of all your bikes? You got to have you have a lot.
Well, I have 5 bicycles. Yes, and I've been, so a little bit more about me. I'm actually a band director and a professional percussionist, and my hobby is obviously cycling, and that's outside music. That's what I live to do. I've gotten to the point, I've been working at Village Cycle Sport for about 20 years now, part-time. And I've gotten to the point where I know my body well enough and know what I want on my bike that I've gotten a couple of custom bikes, some custom titanium bikes by a builder named Carl Strong. I have a road bike that was my 40th birthday present. I'm 42. And I just got an adventure gravel bike by him. And honestly, I think that's my favorite bike. And I also have a Stash that I mountain bike on. I have a fat bike, which has really big, wide 4.0 tires, actually almost 5-inch wide tires that I ride in the snow. And when it's really, really kind of gnarly out, I don't ride on wet single track whatsoever on any of the Camber trails because that ruins the trails. And then I also, I just got a full suspension because I've been wanting a full suspension for a while. So that one I don't have a lot of mileage on, and so I'm still learning on that one. But for mountain biking, I'd actually say my favorite bike so far is the same bike that Coach R is using. It's called a Stash. He got his, and then I rode it once, and I was like, oh man, this is way too cool because it just does everything. You can ride it anywhere, and it does it well. So it's a little heavier to race, but like I said, being a Clydesdale, I don't really care about weight on my bike because if I'm worried about weight on my bike, I need to take it off my body first. So, but my favorite bike right now is probably my adventure bike from Carl Strong. It's a bike that I can mountain bike on. I can road bike on. I can go on gravel. I can. When it's not going to be COVID, I'll be riding into school on it. I got a rack, I got fenders, got lights on it. I plan to ride this if it's a drier Iceman this year, and if Iceman happens, I plan to take this up there and race this bike up there because it's just so cool. So and comfortable.
I'm going to apologize, everybody. Somehow I deleted the comments section, so. We're going to, my fault. Oh, hey, I'm going to learn. So I just wanted to talk about a race in general that Joe did, because let's be honest, this is all about being an amateur, and because it's true. If you go to a race and you know that there's like 20,000 people or 10,000 people come to do a race, let's say like a marathon or something like that, and there are like 40 pros. The race basically is not for the pro athletes. It's great that the pros are racing, but honestly, if it wasn't for the amateurs paying the fees and everything like that to get into the race, there would be no pro racers. That's by far definitely the truth. And some people I do bump into are very arrogant, and we've bumped into many.
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
I'm not going to say any names or what country they're from or anything. So,
yeah.
So anyway, we bumped into a couple.
Doesn't matter.
It takes all types, men, women, doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. So you try to stay away from those people, and it usually doesn't bode well for them in the future. No one wants to have them around.
Yeah.
So getting into that, I want to go into one of Joe's Rebirth Iceman Cometh races. I don't know. I feel like was that our first race?
I think it was our first race.
First race. Yeah. It was like 11 years ago, 12?
12 years ago. 12, well, maybe 13. I don't know. It was so 2009, was it?
Right. So
yeah,
just to give you the gist of the race here.
12 years ago.
Joe's racing Clydesdale. I was So I got out of racing pro for a while back, and then finally got into racing again, just mountain bike, and I decided to go into basically my age group. And I raced the age group, and I did very well, but nowhere not top 10 or anything like that. I think it was top 20. And no one's going to know about me. But
oh, you did a single speed too that year.
yeah, and I was single speed, so one gear bike, so it's crazy. So I beat a lot of people on that.
That's awesome.
Okay, but Joe, I want your experience, your first Iceman Cometh, and how did it go?
Well, it was 2009, and during that time, it was like 12 years ago. During that time in my life, I was studying over the summers to get my master's in music education and science education. I have a double master's, like I said, I'm a teacher, and then I have and I was getting married throughout that time too, a couple of years later. So I wasn't riding a lot. Now, my riding now, I usually do several thousand miles a year between road and mountain biking. Okay, like I said, any chance I get on, I'm on my bike. Back then, I was doing a little bit less than that. So Rob called me up and he was like, dude, I want to do the Iceman. And I'm like, you're crazy. Iceman, that thing's insane. It was always like put in the mountain bike magazines. And
Iceman is in Traverse City, Michigan, and they have said, okay, either you need to bring every kind of, warm weather, cold weather attire.
Well, it's the first weekend in November. So Traverse City is, if we were thinking about like, this is Lake Michigan and this is Chicago over here, Traverse City's all the way up there. So it's about 400 miles north of where we're at. So their November is our December, basically. And so you go up there, there's years that we've done it where we call them Iceman, and it's amazingly beautiful. And it's like 60-degree weather. It's perfect riding. You're basically out for a bike ride with 4,500 other nutso cyclists. And then there's years that it's Iceman. And that first year was kind of like that, where it's snowy and you're riding through slush, you're riding through mud, you're riding through all these different conditions. But he said, I'm going to do that. And I'm like, and I start looking and I'm like, well, you know what? I'll go with you. And he's, he invited me to go hey, why don't you just go to hang out? I'm like, dude, if I'm going to drive 400 miles up to Traverse City, Michigan, I'm riding the race. And I'm like, well, how long is it? And it's usually 30 miles point to point. You start in a town called Casca, and you go all the way to Traverse City and end up at a ski resort called Timber Ridge. And you're basically going through the Perry Marquette, did I say that right, Perry?
Trail system.
Yeah, trail system or something like that. And then, it's gnarly. It's beautiful, but it's grueling too, because it is towards the end. It gets very, very hilly.
All right, let's go into how you felt during, let's say, 5 miles in. It's 35 miles, everybody. 5 miles in, how were you feeling?
I'm feeling, I got this, no big deal. And like I said, I wasn't training.
Okay, yeah. How was the terrain at 5 miles?
It was like around here. No
okay.
big deal.
10 miles.
Okay, I was getting a little tired. I'm like, it's getting harder. All right.
Okay, now you're at 15 miles.
15 miles was like, what did I just ride through? Okay, because the hills start kicking in at 15. Yeah.
Now 20 miles.
Well, I think at 20 miles there was a bench that I could sit down on the top of the hills, and I had to sit there for like 15 minutes going.
Okay, now you're at 25 miles.
Oh, that's when the pros caught me and passed me.
Okay.
So I was on the course when the pros. So there's the pros go last at the end of the day. They leave Calcasa at 2:00. Is that right?
We leave at 2:00.
Yeah, 2:00. And they usually take about 45 minutes to an hour and a half to ride the course, depending on conditions. That year, it took them about 45 to catch me. And that was the men. And all of a sudden, I hear all these motorbikes coming up because they have these, off-road motorcycles for the judges and all that, make sure that
everybody's safe.
Everybody's following the rules. And it is legit. There's like a $5,000 purse for the first place and stuff like that. So
now it's like close to 15,000.
Is it really that much? Yeah, it's gone up a lot.
I think it's it's both men and women.
But it's
so
equal, which I love. I think
That's what's great about mountain biking is that it's equal for men and women when it comes to
both sides,
the money.
Yes.
I've not seen it. Maybe it wasn't in the past. It is now, as far as I know.
Right.
They're definitely the mountain bike racing series, which is USA Cycling. Used to be Norba, National Off-Road Bicycle Association, when I was racing back in the 80s, well, whatever. So
You're old.
I am old. We'll go into that. Let's say, so you're about you're at, so it's 35 miles. You're at mile 33.
Yeah, 33. The woman caught me, which they went half an hour later.
Women are very fast, just
they
let
are
you know.
Very fast. Very fast. They caught me.
Very athletic.
And, you know, it was so cool. It's like, I think Alison Snydor was out there. And she was...
Snydor.
Sorry. And she was winning. And
they know who she is. They know.
Well, yeah. But anyway, but she was winning. She's an older female mountain biker, professional athlete. And she passed me, and she was like, "You got this, man. Keep going. You can totally do this."
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it was so cool to hear that from her. I'm like, you know, this is a world-class athlete.
Right.
One of the best, and she's hooting and howling for me when she passes me.
So I finished this race 4 or 5 hours before Joe did. Okay. So I'm walking around the whole race party scene. There's probably at least 30,000 people there. And all I hear on the loudspeaker is, "I see the last Iceman, Joe Ehrenberg." This was 5 miles out.
Yeah.
And everybody's cheering for Joe. No one really cared who took, really, honestly, they don't care which pro won. Everybody was cheering Joe on. And I have it all on video because I was running alongside of him the last mile. He was stoked. It was really awesome. Yeah, it was cool.
It was cool. Yeah, so at the end, it's just like you see on TV with like other like Tour de France. They have all the different fences, and they're all lined up with all like the sponsors logos and stuff like that, and flyers. And everybody's got their hand out trying to get fives from everybody and stuff like that. And so I was literally riding through, just giving everybody fives and just laughing. It was awesome. So yeah, it was so cool. And yeah, I was the last Iceman to finish. So I finished.
Is Alison Snydor Canadian?
I don't
know. I think she might.
She
I
might
don't
be.
know.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Who was the other Canadian female pro?
There's been several.
So that's the thing. I see that someone said they're Canadian on here. That's the cool thing about Traverse City, the race with the Iceman Cometh, is that there are so many people from different parts of the country, like Brazil, Canada, especially. It's like right there. We'll call Wisconsin another country. No, I'm kidding.
Hey.
It's pretty much it's awesome. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way at all. I love it. It's just because a lot of the really good racers right now are coming out of Minnesota and Wisconsin. I mean, some of them have moved to like Colorado or Arizona, but for the most part, and then Michigan has some of the best mountain bikers around, especially in that race.
Yeah.
Michigan person won it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Cody.
Yes, I agree. Canada's very cool. It's actually cold. Sometimes, not all the time. They have beautiful forests up there.
Yeah.
That is the truth. They have that North Shore mountain biking. Was that British Columbia?
Columbia, yeah.
Beautiful.
So
okay.
That's
phenomenal.
actually, there's a question on here. Where's your dream biking location? And like one of them would be to go over to Whistler, Columbia. And there's a big mountain bike town where it's a ski town. It's Whistler is during the summer is.
Tristan just let us know he's back. Just let everybody know.
Okay. Hi. but Whistler is a mountain bike mecca. There's a few like. For me, like where I would want to go, I have a dream of going over to Moab. I can't wait to go over to Fruta and Moab area.
Moab is in Utah.
Yeah, that's like that. And there's a new one down in Arkansas. The Walton family, the owners of Walmart, their
siblings,
the grandfather,
like our age.
Yeah.
Well, more like my age. Joe's actually young.
Anyways, yeah, the Waltons had built up something called, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it right now. What was it? I'm just reading too many comments right now. Sorry. Well, there's a bunch of mountain biking down there that's actually only 10 hours away. So, Bentonville, there we go. So the Waltons had put like endowments down there, and they have like 40 or 50 miles of trail, and they keep on building more. That's supposed to be pristine mountain bike trail. So that's got my spots. So
we're gonna go. Who is it here? Yeah, you know what? Shout outs are fine. I don't mind doing shout outs. Just give us like a good question or something, right?
Yeah.
We'll shout you out. No
problem.
I wanted to get into racing a little bit. Someone asked me a question. I am a PE teacher, so I do have students ask me questions about things we're dealing with fitness. What does it take to become a professional cyclist? That's a hard question, but an easy question. I don't know how to. It depends on who you are, I guess, right? So if you're probably, I'd say a soccer player. Let's say if you're a soccer player your whole life and you have some injury that just all of a sudden you cannot play soccer anymore. And with me, it was wrestling, and I couldn't wrestle in college anymore. I wrestled for 2 years, and I had an injury. I'm not going to go into that. But I was always riding the bike. And family members told me, why don't you start racing? Friends of mine told me, why don't you start racing? I mean, and I did. And the stamina I had from wrestling transferred to mountain biking because of the switchbacks. That's the back and forth motion, the uphill climbs. I did a lot of hill running. It all transferred into cycling. And all I needed to do is basically learn how to handle the bike better during races. So I started doing these races that were sanctioned out in Morris, Illinois, and they were all on enduro dirt bike motocross trails. So they were insane. You would step into the race and literally it'd be like, okay, the race is 4 laps, which is 22 miles. And you go to the race and okay, I'm racing the expert race, which is pro back then. And all of a sudden somebody goes, let's do 5 laps. And then someone goes, let's do 6 laps. And then you're like, let's do 7. I'm like, what? So then it's like, okay, the race is now 38 miles to 40 miles long. It is 92 degrees outside. And no longer is it a race of who's going to take the top 10. It's who's actually going to finish the race. That was my first what do you want to say, baptism into mountain biking. That back then, they don't do it like that anymore. That made me into a hardened mountain biker, and I had to train hard because the people I was racing against were very skilled, and those races were very long and grueling and hard. I'd say it'd be like going to Alpine Valley. They have a mountain bike cross country trails there. They also have some downhill stuff, but
yeah,
if you can do 3 laps of Alpine and not be like tired, you're good.
Yeah.
It's very rocky, very switchbacky, up and down the climbs.
Lots of climbs. So yeah, it's fun. It's great trails over there, but they are tough.
So going into yes, because I'm going to answer this question. How it was for me is you just keep riding and hearing about races and try to do them, and try to go to as many as you can. Find out what your niche is also, because some races are differently designed. Like right. I'm a climber, and I have to have a lot of switchbacks and a lot of craziness in order for me to do well. If it's a race, Iceman, believe it or not, is not my kind of race.
That's more my race, actually.
Right. It's longer, and it's flat, not flat. I would say it's not as not as technical.
It's not a super technical race. It's because it's how the sand is and everything. It's very sandy, and a lot of portions of the race are very open, like double track. So because you're riding with 4,500 people. So well, not all at once, but everybody's out there. So
a lot of the races I will do will be like, there is probably going to be like 30 people crashing. You know, that's where I know I'm doing well. Even I will skip off a couple trees off my shoulder, but I mean, that's the kind of racing I do, and that's the ones I do really well in. And that's what got me into becoming an expert and eventually racing in the Cactus Cup Series in 1997 and 98. I don't even know if some of you were born. So
I told you he's old.
I'm very old. So Cactus Cup is held in Maricopa County, Arizona. So it's on the foothills of some mountainous areas. And I trained out there periodically through the summers. So that was also how it started for me as far as racing professionally. And then I ended up getting sponsored by Nordic Track, which is hilarious. People laugh at me all the time. So like, don't they make treadmills? I'm like, yeah, but for a stint there, they supported mountain bikers.
Actually,
and
mountain bike was
action
pretty cool.
and action sports in general, triathletes, Ironman athletes, things like that. So I was with a group of about 3 people that were sponsored for about 3 years. And then I had my child and I stopped racing professionally, which brings us back to Iceman. Okay. Then I ended up being, let's say, amateur or whatever, open for the longest
class,
time.
whatever it was.
And I decided to send in all my information to try to race pro again at the age of 47. And I know I'm old. So lo and behold, I am not the oldest person racing professionally.
No. Oh my gosh.
There are people. So
there's people in their 70s out there.
Not
80s.
pro.
We're not running.
Not
Not
pro. 51 was the oldest.
Yeah.
So I'm 49 now. I'm 50 next year. And I'll be 49 racing in Iceman next year and then following 50. I just plan on keeping doing this as long as I can. And that goes back into the training. Okay. How does somebody train as a young person, like some of you out there, and as an older person? So number one is definitely don't do anything that's going to harm your body, no matter what. I'm not going to get into drugs and everything like that. It could be performance enhancing things, all that stuff. Don't do any of that.
Right.
Because
it's not worth it.
It isn't worth it, because in all honesty, when you win, you know you cheated.
Yeah.
And when
You're
that's
cheating yourself.
When that's in your brain,
Yeah.
it'll haunt you the rest of your life, and you'll regret it in the future. It's just, you don't want that weighing on you. There's so many other things you can do in life. Like, I'm a PE teacher and I love my job because I like teaching students. I like teaching young people how to better themselves. And that's the joy of transferring all that energy that I have, light in me, light in you,
Right.
Namaste. Namaste. Same thing. Yeah. You want to give all the knowledge you can to the youth, and hopefully they take it and make this planet a better place. And that's what our jobs are to do.
Yeah.
Make it better. Make it better.
Help people become better people.
The training involved: eat fruits, vegetables, eat what you can. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to eat, because some people have allergies, things like that. Do what you can to make yourself healthy. And at the same time, don't burn yourself out, and have friends that are around you that can ground you and tell you you're putting out too much energy. You need to chill out and take a break.
Yeah.
It's happened many times with me.
It's happened to me. It's, just to interject, because like I said, I'm an amateur athlete, but like I said at the beginning, I'm a professional percussionist and a band director. And so when Rob's talking about being a professional cyclist, music and athletics go hand in hand. The focus that it takes and the dedication and all that. And there were times when I would stop practicing my art for a while, for a couple of years, because I was just getting too tired and burnt out, because I was doing it too much and not taking care of myself in other ways. And it's the same thing. Yeah, it's very easy to do that. So it's all in moderation. I'm sure you hear that from a lot of people, but you don't want to do something so much that that's all you do, and then
you get burnt out.
Your mind can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, you get burnt out. And that's the other cool thing about cycling, is that we mountain bike. That's our big thing. But we do have road bikes. We go on the road. I do go to Andre's bike park lately, and I've been hitting those jumps. I'm not the best at them, but I can huck them and have a lot of fun. And that's what it's all. That's not my main thing, but to have different outlets to free my mind. Sometimes I don't like riding my mountain bike in the sense of doing cross country. I need to do something else,
Yeah.
But but it is fun. Somebody had a question here. Do you ever get bored of riding for hours? Here's
you just usually no.
Yeah, I can. Well, I've done a few 90 plus rides over the summer. I didn't hit 100. I just didn't care to, but it.
That's immaterial. We
Yeah.
to that
Right.
mileage.
So there's a race series called the Wisconsin Endurance Mountain Bike Series. They used to do 12-hour races. That was my big thing. We would do like 140, 120 miles. So, but
mountain
I think mountain biking.
Mountain biking. Yeah.
So Crystal Ridge Ski Resort was one of them. My best finish there was third. That was extremely hard. It was about 40 people in the race. I think half the field dropped after about 50 miles. So, again, it's races. There's men and women there. That would be pro level, definitely the Endurance Mountain Bike Series. So to keep your mind, you have to be able to think about things that are positive in your mind, or block it out and just be part of the trail.
Yeah.
Enjoy the area that you're in. Keep focused.
Yeah, it's a mind game. It really truly is. There's been, I'll be honest, there's been times so we've done Iceman several years. We keep on going back to Iceman because that's like the highlight of both of our cycling seasons. It's like
I think I got like a lot of race numbers up there.
Summer. Yeah. That's the same with my garage. I have it all over my garage. But there's been years where it was just miserable. Like I think there's been, is it 3 times now that I didn't finish Iceman and I pulled myself out or I just wasn't in shape to finish it.
And guys, just to let you know, like
it happens.
It wasn't, all the 3 times you were pulled out, I was literally on the course riding it, and I came across the finish line on the one. I was absolutely miserable. I was frozen. I think it was like 18 degrees at the start, and it was like sleet.
Yeah.
So when you have water touching your body and it's that cold, you can't even, there's nothing you could possibly do to keep yourself warm. And you have warm clothes, but it's not evaporating fast enough.
Yeah, you're just drenched.
I got to mile 20 where there's like a ridge and people are screaming, and that pumps you up too. I thought, and that's the other thing, right? So I'm racing, an elite level, and what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about my friend Joe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking, man, Joe's really gonna have a hard time doing this.
Good. Well, I mean, he's out there for 2 hours. I'm out there for 5.
That's the huge difference.
Huge difference. So yeah, and the thing is, it's like it's a mental game, as I was saying, because a few of those times. One time I had the flu the week before, so I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the lungs and the legs or anything like that. The other 2 times I probably could have finished. I wasn't feeling very good out there, and the mental game got me, and it was like I'm done. I got to the point where I was at a safe point where they could pick me up off the course. There's some stopping spots, and I just said that's it for me this year. So I mean, it happens, but like for the long rides, usually if it isn't a grueling, horrible 5-hour slough through the mud. We had 1 year where Iceman was a mud man. We've had 2 years of that now. But usually, if I'm on a road bike and I'm going out for a 50 or 60 mile ride, the scenery is so different wherever you go that it's just really nice. And then when you start getting into those higher numbers, you're not thinking about, I'm bored on the bike. You're thinking man, I'm getting hungry. I want to get off this bike.
Right. So those are the things that go through your head sometimes.
Right.
I don't know if it's positive.
For me, food,
So
it's a reason I'm a Clydesdale.
All right.
Always working at it, though. Always working at it.
Well, that's what we were talking about. There's a race category for everybody, and that's why it's just awesome. It's a solo sport, but at the same time, if you're a type of person that's very shy, or you don't like to be with other crowds of people, things like that, and cycling is one of those things where it's a loner kind of a thing, but at the same time, it'll pull you into a social environment because you have stories like we're talking about, like Iceman. where you meet like-minded people that are like you, and all of a sudden you have like 20,000 friends, you know, because everybody is feeling the same pain out there doing the race. Everybody's in the same garbage that's going on.
Yeah.
And later on that night,
Everybody's
you
smiling,
go to the restaurant,
yeah.
you bump into hordes of people eating, and everybody's talking about it. There's kids there that did their first Iceman. There's families there. It's very family oriented. The Iceman Cometh race.
Yeah. They actually have kids races during the whole thing.
There's kids races. There's junior races. I think, what's the junior race called?
Michigan.
I can't remember what they're called. Norgay. That's it. The Norgay Juniors.
Yeah.
So, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Hopefully Illinois someday will get something like that.
Illinois got some pretty good riders as far as I know. I don't know the names exactly.
Really good kids out there, that's for sure. I've seen them at Raceway. I've seen them at Silver Lake and at Kettle. I mean, like some of these kids, wow, they fly. So,
what are your Prince songs?
My Prince songs.
Let's Go Crazy. I don't know. That's about how it is when I race.
Diamonds and pearls. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. How many days a week do you bike? This from Tristan.
Tristan. Me, I ride a lot more than Mr. R or Coach R. I really do. Like I said, I try to get on the bike as many times as I can during the week. I have some health issues that he doesn't have to deal with. I've had back surgery already, and if I ride really hard, my back, that's one of the reasons I got full suspension bikes. I'm not as old as he is, but I am getting older, and it's getting harder on my back when I mountain bike. So, for me, and I mix it up. I don't just mountain bike every day. I'll road ride, I'll gravel ride, I'll commute when I can. I'm anywhere from 4 or 5 days a week, you think, on a good week, if the weather or so. And I ride during the winter too. Like I said, I have a fat bike and snow bike, and then I have a trainer down in the basement. And it's like Coach R was asked at the beginning, what's his least favorite exercise is running. Well, I don't run. I'm just my feet don't work like that. My back can't handle it. And I need to do more core exercises to help my back, and I never do. So I need to do a lot more, and I know that it's one of those things. It's like
okay. We're gonna answer Liam's question here. He meant favorite. What's your favorite song?
Right.
Do you have I'm gonna say I don't have a favorite song.
Favorite Prince song?
No, it's not Prince. Just favorite song in general.
Oh man.
I don't know why we're getting into that, but why not?
Well, I'm a musician, so I don't. I'll be honest on that one. It's like people ask me, Alex, I'm a percussionist, and they're like, who's your favorite drummer? I'm like, I don't have one. So everybody affects me a different way.
Let's just say my favorite rock band is Rush, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'll say, and we'll go from there. And I like a lot of different music, but Rush is probably one of my favorite bands.
Rush is one of my favorites too. That's we can get arguments in which Rush album is the best Rush album. So that's getting way off topic.
Yeah.
It's.
But you know what? That goes into what someone was asking. What do you think about when you're riding? Right. Songs do pop up into your head when you're riding. I try to have. So I'm leaving like at 2:00. These guys leave much earlier now.
Yeah.
So literally all the pros pretty much just stand around and stare at each other
and shiver
or we ride, around, and some people are jumping into other people's SUVs because some people have better sponsorship than other people. Like Trek pulls up in a huge van, and then all of a sudden you see all these pros in the same van with everybody just shivering. So it's kind of funny. We're all cool with each other for the most part. But yeah, you want to have like a good selection of songs that you're listening to before you go out and ride, because you want to get pumped up and motivated, right? I mean, sometimes you need that. I do.
Yeah, he needs it. Like I'm actually, I take a guilty pleasure out there, and this is something you probably shouldn't do, but I'll be honest. I have a little Bluetooth speaker on my handlebars.
And it's like, I need to get away from this guy because I cannot stand his song right now. Okay, so
I'll be honest with you.
I'm just gonna stay right next to you, Joe, and just play new wave music, the whole 80s new wave music the whole time.
Yeah, in his car and he's playing that garbage, and I'm just like, will you please play something good?
Hey, these kids, these people out there, and these adults that are watching, they like 80s music. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They want to listen. They want to listen to some Depeche Mode. To listen to some Depeche Mode.
Hey, you know what? If it works for you, it works for you.
Okay,
so.
we had a question here. What bikes do you guys recommend? Is it bike brands or?
I will tell you from 20 years of being a salesman at Village Cycle.
We're not sponsored by any
anybody.
bike company, just to let you guys know.
I will say, whatever bike you buy, make sure it fits and make sure everything is working correctly on it. That's number one. It's not the color, it's not the brand, it's not bikes are become very, like I said, I have 5 bicycles. That's because I ride so many different styles. It's like, you go to a dentist's office, the dentist doesn't have one tool to fix your teeth. He has, thousands of tools there, different types of, unfortunately, like, oh, hey, what's this do? Oh, this scrapes and gets all your tartar off your teeth. This one pulls your tooth out. You're like, but I know I'm just going way off on this one. Sorry, but but like with the bikes and stuff, they're tools for your exploring and your fitness and all that. So, whatever it is.
Let me cut in.
Yeah, sorry.
So no, it's okay. Yeah. The best bike that you have is the one you own. Okay. And
that is true.
If you can add things to the bike to make it better without spending a lot of money, then by far, yes. Is anybody going to want to ride the Stash, which is that purple bike right behind me? No. It's a different kind of bike. Some people are what's called weight weenies when it comes to the bike. They want the bike to be lightweight. Yeah. So it depends. Like
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. It's true though.
I give them a hard time.
Well, sometimes you need to lose weight. To get the.
I already admitted that though.
No, I know, but like, well, you want to shed pounds off the bike. Sometimes you need to shed pounds off yourself. But
right.
That's honestly, not usually going to be the case for young adults or kids or anything like that. That's not. It's going to be for an adult that wants to stay healthy and stay fit, things like that.
But Rob's definitely right about that. But definitely if you were in the market to get a new bike, well, first of all, it's gonna be really, 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 really hard to find a new bike right now because of COVID. But if you are in the market for it, you want to go to a great shop. Okay, I'm not just like promoting my shop or our shop or anything like that, because it depends where you live. I mean, you don't want to drive all the way. If you're all the way up in Wisconsin, there's great shops up in Wisconsin that'll take care of you. That's the big thing. It's you want to go. You want to hear about the shop that treats you right. Yeah,
that's what it is. I mean, maybe they're in most places price match. They will.
Yeah.
You want to also know if they have a really good service department.
Mm-hmm.
That's by far. You want people that legitimately know what they're talking about. You do not want to have inexperienced people working on your bike. Sometimes you'll go into a shop and you're like, okay, I need my bike worked on. You're like, oh, who are the mechanics that are working here? And like, what their experience level or how long they've been working on bikes, things like that. I've been working on bikes since I was 5.
Yeah.
So
usually you can walk into the bike shop and you know the experienced mechanics are, because they can be. This is a little bit of maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit, but they're usually the grumpy people back there, just like, leave me alone, let me work on this,
Well, that's usually the case. Usually mechanics don't want to talk to people.
Yeah, they just want to focus. And what it is, to be honest, defend them is that they're really focusing on their work.
Very focused on their work, and they usually do a really good job.
Yeah.
And they work hard. It's for the love of working and tinkering with machines. It's, again, you're trying to make the bike work correctly so people can be very happy and have a good time, because bikes basically are freedom. It makes you happy. You get to ride around, do things. It's the first piece of transportation that kids have, and they can be more mobile and get to places a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Things like that. I wanted to touch a little bit on, let's see here, how, again, I want to go back to the becoming a better athlete with cycling and things like that. Someone asked me, is there a certain age that when you start becoming a professional or anything like that? There really isn't, honestly. I started pretty much when I was like 23. Some people are 17. So, and a lot of you guys now, a lot of young people, you guys really know how to train well. Back then, there was not really any type of methods to training, which now there's a lot of better training methods. There's a lot more camps. There's bicycle camps. There was a camp 2 weeks ago. I was at Andre's bike park, and there was a ninja camp or something like that, they called it.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a student there that I know, and he was working on some of his drop-in techniques off of a North Shore, which is like a platform, and then it drops into a jump. So he was working on that there. There were girls there. Actually, there was a woman that was on a dual suspension mountain bike, and I never did the expert jump line. And
is that Angela?
All I know is that everybody else was not doing it very well, and
she was destroying it.
I wasn't gonna go, and I was also clipped in, which means my feet are clipped in the pedals, and she was too. And I saw her jump it, and she cleared it, and then I decided to jump it, and I went way too high, and my rear end got stuck in between my seat and my tire, and then I landed on the backside of the ramp or the jump and slid all the way. And then once I came back around, I was a little embarrassed, but once I came back around, I hit it fine.
It's more than I did.
But I thanked her, and I said, you're the only one that jumped and actually had a really good line. And I could see how she transitioned into the jump. And again, it doesn't matter, guy, girl, doesn't matter. You're a good athlete. You're a good athlete. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is going back to it's the whole mental game. It really is because,
Also, hit us with some questions now about cycling or fitness.
Well, there was one question way up there that asked about electric bikes, and actually,
e-bikes.
The e-bikes. I want to get into that a little bit because I got a good story on that one. So, I have ridden e-bikes before, and if you don't know what these are, they're bikes that have a little motor on either on the hub in the rear or the front or in the middle where the pedals are.
Most of the nice mountain bikes have it in the middle.
In the middle. And it's what we call pedal assist bikes. So my wife and I went out to Lake Tahoe 2 years ago. And
where's Lake Tahoe located?
It's California. It's actually on the border, exactly on the border of California and Nevada where we stayed. So if you ever get a chance to go out there, go. It's amazing. It is. That was one of my dream places to go ride, by the way. And I've gotten my wife into cycling, and actually she's gotten pretty good at it, and specifically mountain biking. But I knew going out to Tahoe, I was going to go mountain biking, and I wasn't going to leave my wife like at the pool to sit there and be bored. She's not that type of person. She, for one day, maybe 2 days, 3 days, no way. So she went with me. And if you don't know about Lake Tahoe, it's at altitude. The resort, the lake is at 6,000 feet, and then the trails are like 7,000 and above. Being in Chicago, we're pretty much at sea level, or like 500 feet above sea level, or something like that. So I found out that when we rented mountain bikes, we could rent pedal assist bikes. And honestly, it saved my marriage out there because there's no way what
saved your marriage.
Well, no, there's no way my wife would have gone mountain biking up in the altitude because to get to the trails, you have to climb like a mile of like really steep roads, and then anything of a climb out there, if you're not used to riding in altitude, it's like twice as hard. And I'm big, so and all that. And my wife being kind of a newer mountain biker, she doesn't have the experience or anything like that. So we actually had a ball. They do have their place. It's like out west, absolutely, yes. In altitude, yes. Around here, if you're newer to riding, maybe if you if you're gonna go like riding with Coach R or your friends that are gonna do 30 miles and you've only done 5, yeah, I could definitely see you on a pedal assist. You gotta make sure the trail's allowed to have.
Can I interject one thing? Okay, so we got about 5 minutes here left, everybody.
I can talk forever.
I wanted to just touch base on the e-bikes again, and I wanted to talk about people with adaptations or that need adaptations.
Well, that's what I was gonna get into.
Okay, so there's been a lot of people that have had either injuries or whatever their circumstances were, they were in the military and something bad has happened to them, lost a limb or something like that, or you're born with, not having the function of your legs or things like that, the way you'd want to. The e-bike allows people to literally, like you said, you have back problems, things like that. Some people can, it just happens to them. Yeah. We're all eventually going to be adapted at some point in our life. It's going to happen. I will not be able to keep the top form that I want to be in. It's eventually going to degrade. Sometimes it happens sooner to people than others. And the fortunate thing is, there are e-bikes, and it can keep riders still riding with their friends that are elite level. Or let's say that I'm gonna be like 60 years old and I can't ride as quick anymore, or hit the climbs that I want to, and my daughter can ride, a bike that's not an e-bike. I'll ride an e-bike, and we can hang with each other and
so
ride.
There's
so that's the joy of it.
Yeah, and like I said, like when my wife and I were out in Tahoe, it was if it wasn't for the e-bikes, we would not have had a good time out there. We would not have been able to ride because just the altitude was too hard for us. So,
was there any questions? We're gonna end that topic.
Yeah, we have to. But
was there any questions you guys had? One last thought, one last question you wanted to ask us before we sign off here on the 300 plus subscriber day?
Woohoo! Thanks, Tristan. Yeah, it is a yay Friday. Woo!
That's funny. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Can I do my Wayne's World thing now?
No. So anyway, just wanted to say thank you guys for coming in here. Thanks to everyone. Again, this wouldn't have been possible without all of you. 300 plus subscribers is awesome. Please spread the word of the channel. We're doing a lot of different things. I actually have a fun clip. It might be really short, but it was me doing some balance board stuff, and I had a couple crashes, and I think they're kind of funny. So I'm going to put that on there. Yeah, this might be a thing. I think we might collab more often.
I had a lot of fun, and you guys we're reading your comments. Like, if you notice, my eyes are going over it a little bit, and your comments are awesome, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for being so welcoming.
You guys have been great. There hasn't been anything. There was a couple negative things I had to throw out here, but looks like our filters are working really well.
Yeah.
Which is good. You guys, we want to keep this channel G-rated. We have a lot of kids that are on here. We have adults that are on here. This is a family-oriented channel, content, and we want to keep it going, and we want to keep it positive. Nothing negative.
Next time we should talk about our road adventures in Greene County.
Yeah, Greene County, Wisconsin. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
that'd be really
Blue
cool.
Mountains and stuff.
Yeah, that's road riding. So
that's a whole different beast than mountain biking.
We could talk about that too. So yeah, we are local in the Chicagoland area here. Again, thank you for being on, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I should do more ab workouts. I need to do a lot more of everything. So
I admit it. I hate doing that stuff, and I need to do it, especially my back.
Right. So I have yoga on the channel. Yeah, I got the ab workouts. People like the yoga too. I'll do another ab workout. I'll do another one on there. So I think we're gonna wind it down here. Yeah. Is there any final thoughts you wanted to say, Joe?
No, just guys, just keep going. You know
what?
You be you.
I will do a fan meetup, dude guy, if we hit 1,000 subscribers.
All right.
So spread the word. Yes. We'll meet up at a local trailhead and we'll go cycling. That'd be fun.
That'd be a good time.
Get the parents involved, get everybody involved. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long that takes. So this took about a year to get 300. So we'll see. I'm not holding my breath. You guys are more enthused about it than I am. It's coming. We'll see.
All right.
But hey, guys, wanted to say thank you. You guys were awesome. Got you. Okay. I think, anyways, had a lot of fun with all the chats and everything like that. You guys were awesome tonight. This was a lot of fun. This turned out better than I thought it would. Again, have a good night, and I'll see some of you tomorrow at school. I'm not naming who those people are.
You won't see me 'cause I don't
Privacy
teach in your
issues.
school.
Yeah, he doesn't teach in your school. He teaches in another school.
Yes.
But anyways, you guys take care. Yes, have good night. Let me sign off here.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Hi, guys and girls.